my foster parents, a wonderful couple called Guy and Ruby Smith, who rather surprisingly to their friends and probably even to themselves had agreed to foster 2 Jewish children. They really brought me up as they would have done their own child. I settled in at the age of 5 quite quickly and quite well. Of course, neither of us had any English at all, but we arrived in July, and by September we had enough English to go to school without being teased, though we were teased about being German. Nobody sort of distinguished between Germans and Nazis in those days. My sister unfortunately didn't settle in so easily. She was 10. She kept her German going, which I didn't, because she was able to read and write, and so she wrote to my mother, who most of the time we had an address for her. I turned, I suppose, into a really English girl. My hair was curled. I rejected all the sort of clothes that I had from Germany, and Auntie and Uncle were quite happy to buy me the sort of things little English girls wore. They got me a little dog, and that allowed me to settle in quite well. Because small traumas had already happened. I had lost the doll with whom I had travelled, and that was a greater loss to me than perhaps the loss of some other things. We attended the local village school, which was within walking distance, and this was in the Midlands, about, 12 miles out of Germany. Correction, how do you want to handle that? 12 miles away from Birmingham. It's about 12 miles away from Birmingham. And so it was sort of in the country, and we would walk to school by ourselves across the fields, and settled into a little village school, one great big classroom, sort of benches that were fixed to each other, sort of desks that were fixed to each other with sort of great metal binding things somehow. And it would have been fine. But I started talking with a real Birmingham accent. Those of you who know it will know that it's not the most lovely, warm Cornish or Yorkshire accent. It's a brum. And Auntie and Uncle, being a little bit snobbish, decided that they didn't want their child to be speaking like that. So took me out from that school. My sister had already moved on, and sent me to a little Roman Catholic convent. I was taught there by nuns in black and white habits, and they really were, they were not professional teachers, but they were very effective in their teaching, and in particular they imbued in me some of the values of the Christian faith. And I look back really to those years with affection. I thought I settled and was happy remarkably well. But later on, a whole lot of post-traumatic stress did come out, and it wasn't, perhaps it was a bit superficial. Auntie and Uncle were certainly my parents to all intents and purposes. I was really doubly lucky because we were later reunited with our birth parents. But to a certain extent, I never bonded with them again, and this is the sort of thing that can happen with when you have these traumatic life events for children at a sort of malleable stage in their lives.